In this session, we're going to go through Extrude. Now, as you can see, when you roll over these, you have the shortcut next to it. So you have a spacebar or E, for example. I pretty much always use the face. Now, you can use edges if you wanted to, but I very rarely do that because it doesn't create very solid objects, and that can have problems in games or texturing and understanding what your shape is like. So usually I will always use face. So once again, using hotkeys is the way to go in Blender. Will save you a lot of time. So choosing a face, let's go here. So if I just select E, or of course click on this. So if I use this button here, this will turn up. And then I can use Visual Guide to do that. Once you let go, you can edit the details here, for example. So I can move that. Now, as soon as you go undo, it will lose everything. So if you want to do that, you would probably reset that by text instead and just adjust the ones you've got here. You can flip normals, dissolve orthogonal edges. Proportional editing comes later. I can show you a good example of that. And where is the orientation coming from? As you'll get more complicated shapes, you'll probably look at that as well. Once you're set, you can hit return just to be sure. And as soon as you click off, this goes away and you cannot pull it back up again. So make sure that all of your settings are correct. Once again, we can do that. Now, if we use the E version, there's no icon gizmo to open. So it'll just go in the direction that you're looking at, for example. This does come up, so you can adjust that if you wanted to, but you've basically got a simple, very quick, but more limited approach to how you visualize that. Now let's go through some of these tools. So Extrude region is just whatever that is. So as an example, let's multi-select with Shift, press E, and then you have those three moving out. Now if we go Extrude manifold, so that's an example there. So it will get rid of an edge over the top here and down there automatically with the manifold. And notice how this is actually connected on the bottom there. Whereas if you just use the standard, it's not connected. So the manifold one is very good for sort of faster, cleaner extrusions. Now, extrude along normals basically does what it says. So it will take those and then move like that rather than two separate ones. So that's extrude along normals, for example. But if I did normal one, you have that. Now, this one is particularly useful. Offset even will clean up that. So very, very useful. And of course, extrude normal. So once again, those two, well, let's do these two. Those two, and if you extrude, they're separated. So once again, general extrusion, extrude manifold, which cleans up some of the faces, both internal and external, depending on which direction you go. Extrude along normals will create this example here, extrude individual, and extrude to cursor. Let's turn that off for a second. If we do that and click on the screen, that will extrude to wherever the cursor goes. So if you want to extrude down here on the same viewport, you'll have that. So I don't use this one very often, to be honest. So there you have extrude.